if you saw it. I guess that's Eastern Conference. Did you see that video of Doc Rivers talking to Harden? Oh, bro, it's so fucking good. It was
Really?
break. Yeah, it was him doing like it was like a mic'd up moment where he's walking through Harden and walking through like what he needs from Harden and what they're trying to do as a culture and how Harden fits in and how they can, his belief of how it all works and getting him to be the certain portion of the play making, but Harden needs to be more than a facilitator and how it all works in the context of like step by step. It was badass, and trying to get Harden to understand like this is how you need to play with this team, and we're unstoppable, like legitimately unstoppable.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think that he's an interesting coach. Doc Rivers has been around for a long time now, and he's kind of gotten dumped on lately, but I do think that is a strength of his is seems to be like character and leadership of the players on the court, whether he can like be dynamic enough to get the most out of them in like certain situations. Seems like maybe not. Maybe he's like an overall culture setter, not a guy who micromanages in those like specific moments. And that may be where he gets kind of hung up. But that's what's so tough too. Like you can be really amazing, and obviously he is at that thing, but maybe not quite as good at another. And I guess maybe that's him as a leader needing to know who his assistant coaches need to be. And recognizing what he needs on the sidelines with him.
Yeah, to bring that support to the team. I totally hear you. Like that's team building to me, right? That's recognizing where you're strong. Then you got to get that person, whoever it might be, number two, to like understand your vision, but to be able to get in and be like, this is the actual operational, human operations that need to work to make this happen,
Yeah.
It's all translatable. It's a trip. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we're done with this, since my AirPods don't attach to my phone, I'll try to find that clip and send it to you. It's a pretty cool, like 1 to 2 minute conversation.
I'll check it out for sure. I think that's one of the most interesting teams of the year, and I think the Harden dynamic. He's a fascinating player because he's gotten just like shit on for his faults in the postseason, which fine, and the whatever his extracurricular activities, which I also think is it's such a weird thing about the sports figures, but I guess because they make so much, people are so much more interested in how they spend their time not on the court. But you know what I mean? Like you never would think of like if someone at the cafe was a little off one day, and you wouldn't be like, wonder what they did last night. We need to dig into that and see if there's some TMZ video of it. It's like, no, I think, maybe just tomorrow they'll be all right.
Yeah, I was going to say, everybody can have a night, dude. Everybody can go hard.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's okay.
All right. Well, let's stay with the team building then. I want to get your thoughts on Redeem Team. Did you get a chance to watch that?
Yeah, man, that's like the sickest thing I've seen in a minute.
Yes, that's what I wanted to hear. So give me your just like overview of it first.
The overview of it is like, do you like how it feels to have those movies like Remember the Titans in your life? Like, do you like what it feels like to see like what shouldn't be underdogs, but that feeling of underdogs coming together and making something special happen? Like, and to hear the behind the scenes story and hear from the mouths of these players how it worked is, and coaches and people who are really deeply involved, that is really, really inspiring. And then for me, like there's a difference between how I felt about Kobe before that and after, to be real. And it humanized him a lot. Prior to that, to me, he's one of the best players of all time, and I still didn't love him.
Yeah.
And after that movie, I was like, I like Kobe a lot. Even and I can still dislike some of the things that he did in the culture that he kind of lived out in his career, but I understood him more, I felt like. And then I appreciated seeing so many things, how people could disarm you, like LeBron and disarming him. I also
how great was that? That is I knew he was kind of like a culture builder, just going back to like Cleveland, because there's always like photos, and that seems like he does a really good job of that, like bringing the guys together, trying to connect with them and do fun team building stuff with them. But to see it like kind of in the moment, and even with Kobe, like that birthday thing, he's leading it. It's like good. This is just really like you said, humanizing and stuff that you can relate to, where these guys so often seem unrelatable. We were talking about Harden and some of the stuff that seemed very relatable. And the Kobe seeing behind the thinking behind some of the things that he did and the way he explained it was super amazing. The Pau Gasol thing obviously stands
Mm,
out. I mean,
G'd
I
up.
don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty competitive. I'm unsure whether I could do that to my teammate.
I'm too empathetic to pull that move.
Yeah,
That's one of those like win
amazing
at
though,
all
right?
costs. I
Just
mean, yeah,
and well, just the pre-planning of it too. Like I think if I got fired up enough, maybe just the raw emotion of it, you
sure.
could do it. But like to just be like, hey guys, here's what's gonna happen, and just like lay it out there, and then just to crush him. I was just I couldn't. I mean the cut between the him explaining it and then seeing it is unbelievable. Like I've never seen anything like that before.
I hadn't either. I was pretty blown away, and it was the whole the whole scene was like, holy shit! To pre-plan it, but even to go deeper and like meet Pau Gasol. I mean, that might have been for the finals game, but to like connect with him
Oh yeah,
beforehand, soften
before
him up
the
a
very
little,
first time they played.
go
Yeah,
see their team, like go like be like, what's up, guys? We're about to play
yeah.
together, and just fucking lay into him. It's like,
I
oh
am gonna
man,
run you over.
unbelievable. I'm gonna run
Unbelievable.
him over, and then
The
to do it right, like tell the team,
right.
and then to do it, and have him be like, "Oh, this guy is on," and then
The
also like his
reactions
ethics.
too, the
Yeah,
reactions of Bosch and those guys were like,
Bosch. Oh yeah,
he wasn't lying. Like, I mean, everyone was just like, "Nah, he's not really gonna do that." And then just to see his reaction after he does it. I would be the same way. I'd be like, "My God," you know? And yeah, the
his
club,
leadership style is
yes,
just different, right?
it
You got
is.
like LeBron's, but then you have his, which is essentially like, I'm gonna be a straight shooter. He doesn't seem like he's an inspire by words by any means. I think he's
No.
like, I'm gonna go do this shit, and you can see how good I am. And if
Yeah.
you want to be good like me, follow my lead or follow in my example.
Yeah.
And that's one way. But then there's like the LeBron way, which is completely
It's
different.
totally different.
Like LeBron, and this was kind of fun and validating for me too. Is like I've always thought Dwayne Wade was one of the most clutch ballers ever, and he's
Mhm.
always I think he's underrated in the context of the whole picture. But to see this again was like super validating. I'm like, there were two clutch people on that team, and Dwayne Wade and
Oh,
Kobe were
man.
the ones.
For
You
sure.
know, like they actually were the ones. The rest of
Yeah.
them were amazing, but the clutch players were those two guys. And you can kind of see that. I mean, LeBron's developed to be a pretty clutch
He
player,
has, yeah.
but he
This is
wasn't for
before
a
all
long
that.
time.
This is
Exactly.
before all that, that he went through the
Hmm.
Dallas series and kind of he seemed more like the jovial, and he just figured that it had always worked for him, and he figured it eventually would. But Kobe coming in too and saying, "I'm tired of you guys watching you guys lose." I mean, just like the ultimate flex, like Mello, his. I thought he would just like, oh man, just to be able to say that to these other guys who are the top of their game, because it's just different when it's uh there's the top of the mountain and then there's that little peak just above it that
Yeah,
it's like you can get lots of people could get to Everest base camp, but to get to that peak is just a whole nother thing. And wow,
he
it
claimed
was
it.
he did he did right there, just walking in. Tired of seeing you guys losing. What about Coach K? I'm curious because just
Mm.
sticking with leadership, because we've been talking kind of around that. What did you think of his leadership style and the way he brought these guys together? Because he was in a unique position too, just
Hmm.
kind of being put forward by Dean Smith, which I thought was an interesting part of the backstory, and then
Yeah,
coming in as a college coach, looking for that validation. And I think they kind of glossed over that 2006 team that he did coach losing too. Like they went over that Greek loss real quick.
pretty
Yeah,
fast.
because
Yeah,
Krzyzewski was there for that. They were just kind of like, oh yeah, they lost to the Greek team, by the way, and then kind of fast forwarded to 2008.
yeah. I mean, the only thing they barely gave credit to that was they wanted the team to commit so they could develop as an actual
Yeah,
team, like
yeah,
the rest of the world. But again, I think that comes down back to Coach K being really wise. Like the thing I liked about Coach K is that he looked at the picture honestly. He didn't look at the picture with that presupposed ego of what was getting us to lose. We're Americans. We created basketball. We're the best. And he said, "What's happening? Why are we losing?" Right? Where other guys I feel like in the past were like, "We're just gonna have to play harder and do." It's like that same thing. Like keep throwing the same stuff at the fence. Like work harder, put the better team together. And it's like, no, you have to build a culture. You have to look at what's happening, learn the rules, like
yeah. Oh
and
man, how
adapt.
crazy is that? Learn
Like
the rules. Yeah.
learn the rules, adapt, pay attention to how these other teams are playing
Yeah.
because we need to be a mix of ourselves, which I love. He's all, you need to keep the egos that you have because you are the best players in the world.
Yes.
And you need to bring that to the table, but you need to bring that to the table in the context of the ego of this entire team and the plan we have. Like
Yeah.
they fit together only if you allow it to fit together. And I think there's so much wisdom in that. That's team building. That's also checking their ego enough to be like, you need to be humble enough to know like you've been losing because of there's a reason, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
and it's not your skill. So
Right.
something you have more to learn. We have
Yeah.
more to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that's genius. I think that's really, really awesome. And just to hear that players, respond to it too. In the context, right? They're like, he shot us really, really straight, but he also allowed us to be ourselves.
Mm.
And it made sense, right? I think
Yeah.
Coach K believed in what he believed in. And it wasn't somebody trying to convince these NBA players to quote unquote be different. It was convince them to see a bigger, broader picture that wasn't about myself as a superstar.
Yeah, that can be the hardest thing. He even in that huddle in the Spain, the Spain game, they overlay him saying like the players were talking through it and him
Mm-hmm.
recognizing like, oh, okay, I, my job's kind of done. And that's such a hard thing as a coach in that moment to realize like, okay, I got them to this point. Like my job here is to let these guys take it home. They've got it, and
Yeah.
to be humble enough to know that you don't always have to be the voice and the direction. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's not easy because letting go of the reins like that a little bit because it could you're gonna get the blame if it if it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna come right back at you if it comes out that you were there and didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
It can work the other way too.
Yeah. I would have loved to hear what that huddle sounded like.
Yeah.
I'm imagining just based on that Redeem Team doc and trusting somehow having a deeper trust in Coach K, although it's pretty proven at this point for the most part.
Yeah.
Like he must have been hearing good things and he must have been hearing a lot of camaraderie that was building. A lot of belief was building in each other and that that
Mm.
that momentum was carrying. And you're right, like one thing checking the ego and probably also I would imagine he had some pride there where he was like, "Oh shit, this is happening." Like
Yeah.
they're getting it.
They got it. Yeah.
And there's always going to be moments more to coach, but he's probably I'm picturing in that moment and in a way where I get pumped, him watching and being like, "Oh, they are exactly on pace right now. If this keeps going as it is, we're winning for sure."
Yeah.
And that's where I think good coaching can come into play as well as allowing your leaders to be leaders.
Mm. Yeah, I thought it was funny. I heard the No Dunks guys talking about they're all from Canada, and they talked a lot about the redemption part and that they did a good job of it because they're like, well, I never cheered for the United States ever. And, that's such a weird thing as a person from the United States thinking
Mhm.
about. But they're like, yeah, they never lose. Like they're trying to paint themselves as the underdogs. They were like 167-0 until like that one game against Puerto Rico. It's like that you
Right.
guys aren't the underdogs, the redeem team. What are you talking about? Like you guys have been pummeling everyone for decades. You're gonna try to act like you need redemption here. But
Yeah.
it was a neat perspective and the fact that they could frame it up in a way that did make other people connect to that team and in that way, I think was, speaks to the job that they did and that telling the backstory, not just focusing on that 2008 team, but kind of showing the missteps and miscues along the way in the team
Mhm.
building process.
Well, there's something to their ability to like ingrain themselves in the culture that was we're representing the United States in a different way too. I thought it was awesome, which it felt like this was a Kobe led thing as well. Is we're going to for the first time ever go watch all the other best athletes in the world and support
Oh,
them. We're going to
yes.
actually
Oh,
show
yeah.
up and we're going to actually be Team USA, not the NBA players who play for Team USA.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that's a huge statement and maybe one of the reasons that you can get people cheering for you because you become human and you allow people to see that you actually give a shit about them too. It's not just all about me, all about me, all about me. And I think the American culture made it all about them and how badass they were. When it's like it's equally badass that everybody else who's winning gold medals for the US is the best in the world at the same time. And even the ones who don't are the best that we have to offer. And they also, deserve that kind of respect. So to have the people who already get the most money and the most respect and the most
Yeah.
notoriety to show up for the average, perfect average human, right? The
Right.
best athletes in the world. I think allowed everybody to be like, oh, this is a real team that's like deserves our love and support.
Well, they, just doing little things like showing up in the cafeteria to eat, and
Right.
it seems so minor, but that really is what, um, what's missing sometimes. I think about like Jordan in later years. It's just like it must have been difficult for him too, because you can't do that on some level, but it
Hmm.
also like does take some, a piece of your humanity away when you can't, when you're on that cruise ship like they were, and couldn't even weren't even in the Olympic Village, like not just like the general population of people, but just
Hmm.
like even with the athletes, like they weren't mixing. They couldn't go to the events. They were just on that boat the whole time.
Yeah.
It just would be weird, and it is those, like, sojourns with your teammates too are the team building time, right? When you have
Hmm.
those, random conversations, or, build out the Miami Heat in a couple of years, or
Seriously,
whatever else.
right?
They glossed over that too, I thought.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
I
no,
wanted
we're
to
putting
hear.
together our squad right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I know.
We're having a real nice
They
time.
didn't really hit on that too much, I noticed. That'll be
Yeah, I
another
agree.
documentary.
So yeah, one to be. Those little moments though are the human moments that make you, I think they bring inspiration,
Yeah.
right? And if you're stuck on a cruise ship, not interacting with everybody, you're not getting those moments that as a human, they make you feel it's really intangible. It's kind of hard to describe, but those are the moments I think that build people up in these really interesting small ways that turn into I'm really excited to play. I'm really invested in this as myself. And those things only happen with a lot of random interaction and a
Mm,
lot of showing up. And unless you've experienced that yourself, it's almost hard to describe to people, but it's
yeah.
totally true. Like inspiration strikes oftentimes when you're not doing the thing that you're about to do. Like you're having a conversation with somebody in another sport and you're hearing them talk about their sport with this certain level of passion, and it ignites a passion in you,
Mm.
or even a thing, whatever they're talking about. They might be excited. It might be fucking, it could have been the chef in the cafeteria talking about
Maybe.
how crushing this food. Look
Yeah,
at the presentation, like detail work. Somebody like Kobe's all, damn, that is the level I need to be on. I
yeah,
love being on that level. Like somebody else gets it. I'm not alone. I'm going to go crush it today. Like
yeah,
those moments are like, and
yeah.
I think humans gloss over and they don't see them a lot. And then they think, whatever.
Way too much,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you saw the Curry post last night. There's so many people
Oh,
hating
I
that
know.
Curry's cheering on his brother-in-law
Yeah.
because his brother-in-law is on the rival team. And I'm like, you don't realize that like inspiration's inspiration, support, cares care. Like these are human beings. This is awesome. Like I was cheering for him too, and that's absolutely because I'm a Warriors fan. But I was
Yeah.
also like, fuck yeah, Damian Lee. Like, look at you go. Like, I'm so glad
Yeah,
you had a moment. New team, first
yeah.
game. Like, I was wondering how he was gonna be on that squad. I'm like, it's gotta be weird for him. Like, they were for sure rivals,
Oh,
and for him to
man,
go
for
in
sure.
and to like start game one and be like, oh no, he's immediate acceptance. Like just
Yeah.
that human feeling. I don't care if it's Damian Lee or anything. You can understand the feeling of I'm new. Oh man, I want to perform. I was on this team where I got to barely perform, and I got to just look good tonight and really help. And it felt good. I was defensive. I was offensive. I don't know if you watched the game, but I was
I
like,
did.
this is sick. Like you
Yeah.
did. You put up big, and I was literally thinking to myself, like, he's getting like big minutes for this first game.
Yeah, well, Chris Paul was sitting out,
Right. The
They had
whole thing.
Booker in there and Chris Paul on the bench, so that was,
The whole thing was confusing to me.
you're cooking. Yeah, early
Yeah.
in the
So
season, you gotta try stuff out.
I jumped to a whole different thing, but it's that feeling. It's again that human feeling of like Curry got inspired watching his boy crush. And if
Mm.
Curry was playing tonight, guaranteed Curry might go off a little more than he might with a day or two after that as it settles in. Because he's remembering that feeling. He's like, oh, that was sick. Like you're feeling that. If he could go play a game right after watching that,
Oh,
he's
man, I
on
know.
fire.
I
And
know.
that's the stuff that
For
like
sure.
is intangible. Had nothing to do with Curry.
Oh,
Had
man.
all to do with watching a rival team and a friend play.
Yeah.
And
I
that's the
saw
stuff.
him do the little shimmy shake the night before. I wanted to immediately go out and do that. I'm like, chances of me making that almost 0%. Looked
It was
amazing
good.
though.
I hadn't seen that.
Never seen him do that before.
Mini Jordan right
I
there.
loved
Yeah,
it.
a little more
Loved
like
it.
DeMar DeRozan in this case.
Oh,
Now,
okay, now you're talking,
but
that's my guy, my Bulls.
Oh, understandable. I know we're supposed to talk Western Conference,
Yeah,
but
let's go to it. So my idea was, and I love being able to do this after the season starts. Everyone's in such a hurry to get out like their predictions before the season starts. So people don't even hardly pay attention to the NBA till Christmas. Certainly after a game, you can still be pretty bold in your predictions because you never know what's going to happen. No one needs
nah.
this. I hate that everybody has to say with their prediction as long as everyone stays healthy. I'm like, why do you even have to say that? Like, just say that once. We'll say that once at the top. Yeah, if everyone stays healthy, that's the prediction. If Luca blows out his knee, no, the Mavericks are not going to be as good. Like, doesn't need to be said.
Yep.
But I don't know if you want to do tiers or you want to draft them and go back and forth on Western Conference teams. You want to just
Damn.
pick a couple that you love?
Oh, the
Oh, it
maximum
might be
recording
me.
time has been reached.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good.
It's all right. It's a webcam. You keep going.
Okay. You know what? How would we do it? I was just I was thinking about just discussing all the. I mean, man, on the Western Conference, it's so easy to throw eight teams that feel like no brainers that should hit the playoffs. Like
Yeah.
to tier them, sure, we could tier them 1 to 8 if that's what you want to talk
All right,
about and
let's
go
do
back
it.
and forth.
Let's do it.
We
Who
could just
you
compare notes and go 1-1.
I'm giving you one first, so you can start us out. Who's one?
Damn.
I know it's tough.
At the end of the season, who's sitting in number one?
Yep.
Oh, that's fucked up. It really is hard. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm actually not gonna fucking do the Warriors. I think based on what I'm seeing and potential, it's maybe it might be Clippers.
Oh my gosh. How are the Why does everyone love the Clippers so much?
I don't
Over
love
your
the
Warrior? You
Clippers.
love the Warriors.
Well, the
Pick
Warriors
it-
are okay. I feel like it's too easy for me to say that. This is what I do in my brain. They're all like, he's going to say the Warriors no matter what. The Warriors should be number one at the end of the
Okay,
season.
okay.
So,
Just
okay,
pick
fine.
the
I'll say
Warriors.
Warriors.
Pick the Warriors.
Warriors are my team, number one.
You're doing the well, as long as
Fine.
they don't have any injuries.
Here I go.
Pick it,
Nope, I'm
pick
not
the
doing that.
Warriors.
I'm doing number one Warriors. Pulling
Okay,
it
good.
out. That's it. Go. Your
All
turn.
right.
Who's one for you?
I'm gonna be boring because I think the Warriors are the best team. I think people are overthinking it. Like I love the idea of the Clippers because Kawhi is amazing, but I just think that let's check in at Christmas on them. Like those guys have not been healthy for years. They're also a little bit older and they've
Yeah.
got so many guys. And we were just talking about teams. One of the things about the NBA that's a little different than like the Redeem team or something like that is that not everybody loves not playing. Like if I'm sitting on that Olympic team, like part of it is an experience and traveling and
Mm-hmm.
getting to know these guys. And I know that I'm going to go back to my team and get something out of it. And I'm going to be a star and play as much as I want there. But
Sure.
it's a little different on the Clippers where I might have a contract coming up and I'm not playing at all. And I think that can kind of eat into the culture a little bit. And so I'll be
Mm-hmm.
interested to see because part of that what's been touted is their depth, but that can work both ways. And especially
Mm-hmm.
once you get to the playoffs, because you really only need eight guys. Like you don't need more than 8 guys in an NBA
Right.
game, especially if you've got a good starting 5.
Yeah. I mean, with them, I'm kind of just banking on hunger and but you're right. And John Wall feels hungry and he feels ignited. But again, we're beginning of the season. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, then
We'll see.
they might be your number 2. Who's your number 2?
No, I don't actually think they're my number two. I'm gonna be bold.
They're
I'm gonna
dropping.
be I'm gonna be bold on this number two. No, I'm not. It's probably gonna be Memphis.
Oh, nice. Even with
I
the
think it's gonna
Jaren
be
Jackson,
Memphis.
even with the Jaren Jackson Jr. injury.
I just think I think that team is special. They're young.
Yeah.
They have chemistry. I think that they're dangerous.
You watched them last night? Any of them last night?
I only watch highlights from them,
Highlights.
but every time I see them, I'm like, watch out.
Yeah.
I feel like
think so too.
they were the ones.
Yeah.
They were the ones that the Warriors we squeaked by on being veterans against them, but like they were playing the game that should have beat us. I think
they looked excited when I watched part of the game last night. They look like they just like playing basketball. Like they
that's
just
the
like
stuff.
getting out there to play. Some of these teams, Joel Embiid I wasn't entirely sure he was, like, ready for the season to start. He's like
They're all
he's like
huffing.
he's like, I might need, like, an extra week or so here, maybe a couple more wind sprints before I'm ready to play."
Yeah.
And they looked ready to go. Like, Ja was look, he's, like, shot out of a cannon when he gets going. It's unreal, and everyone else just has fun around him, and I know they will miss, I think, Jaren Jackson's
They
defense,
will.
but Brandon Clark does a lot of stuff that Jackson does on some level, and like you said, I think they've got the parts. I wouldn't pick them 2. I'm gonna stick with the Suns,
You're going
actually.
Phoenix? I knew
I
it.
know.
Yeah. It's a
It's
fair
so
guess.
it's so weird because everyone has them falling, but I don't understand why. I guess because
Mhm.
I guess they're using the kinda same thing, the chemistry issues, because you had the weird thing with DeAndre Ayton. But, I mean, I don't really know what was going on. I mean, I know Chris Paul got COVID, I guess, in the, Western Conference Finals, that's but what does that have to do with this year? And
I
they
don't know.
won like 60 sets, what, 67, 65 games last year? Like,
Yeah, I
that's
mean, they're good.
the best team in the league, I think, was the Celtics pinned at like 54 games. I just don't see them dropping, you know, 15, 20 game. Are they gonna drop that far just because of that? Like,
Nah.
they still seem really solid. Damian Lee is a good pickup. They need to trade. What's his name? That's weird that guy's what's his name? I'm blanking on his name that's sitting out
That
right now. Uh,
the
yeah,
big
yeah,
yeah, with the
the
I don't
dreadlock.
remember either.
I know,
I'm
yeah.
Yep.
But he
Why am
the
I
fact that
blanking?
he's sitting out is just like so ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
why he doesn't seem like he's on that level. Uh,
Mhm.
I don't know,
I mean,
I
that
love the
team's good.
Suns. Yeah, Jay Crowder,
I
that's
get
what
it.
it is. Jay Crowder.
Crowder, that's right. Yeah, yeah, Crowder.
Yeah.
That's the one. I think that they are still absolutely a force. And I
Yep.
do think Damian Lee's a good pickup culturally. I'm interested to see how Chris Paul plays this season, seeing him sit on the bench. But I feel like that's probably, I'd almost bet that coaching wise is less to do with Chris Paul and more to do with like maybe we do need to practice creating some chemistry,
I
knowing that Chris Paul's going to
Yeah.
be able to create it no matter what. Right? Let's
Yeah.
get this little young squad in game one, let them run some stuff and see it, and it worked.
Yeah. I think
It's that
they need his minutes down too, because ultimately, like, if they win 50 games this year, it doesn't matter. Like, they need to get healthy,
yeah,
into the playoffs, and they could beat anybody then. So
right.
that's
He's second
that's
half of the season guy.
that's my number 2. Who's your number 3?
My number three. Are you ready for this?
Oh, no. You're in
Are
bold
you
so
ready?
far. I'm not. Gotta be the
Uh,
Clippers, right? You're about to put them number 1.
I don't know, dude. Did you watch the Pelicans last night?
Oh god. I did.
I don't
They
know,
looked
man. So
awesome. They
again,
blew
this comes down to like this
Yeah.
is me like kind of rolling the dice, but I'm saying they're 3 or 4. I'm saying
Wow.
because like I don't know, like
They
I
blew the
don't. I'm not
door
saying
they blew the
Zion looks
doors off the
amazing,
Nets last night. They absolutely blew the doors off them.
and I don't feel like they were like trying as I don't know. I just don't feel like they were playing as good as they could play when I
Yeah.
saw that. Like
Well, can't be. Zion's been off the court for
right.
18 months, and he looked like that. I was
That's what
impressed
I'm
with him.
saying.
Yeah.
He's fresh. He's the best he's ever looked since
Yeah.
better than high school, I'd say. He looks.
Yeah.
I don't know. They seem like McCollum. It feels like if they didn't have the chemistry that seems like they could to put up what a buck 30 last night without playing
Mhm.
their best basketball against a team that arguably shouldn't allow to 130 is pretty solid.
You would think, but I don't know. That Nets team, you wanna talk about chemistry, that Nets
Well,
team,
they're
yeah.
both. What chemistry?
That's the exact opposite. That's like your Mentos and Diet Coke,
Yeah,
right there. Pow.
yeah. That's my roll of the dice. We'll see where it comes in at the end of the season, but
Okay,
I'm gonna
I
throw that out
like
there
it.
as third. At third,
Pelicans. All right.
danger.
I'm flipping to your Grizzlies at 3.
Okay.
I really like them. I just think they're built for the regular season too. And Jaren Jackson Jr., he'll come back. They've played without stars before. So if we want to talk about, oh, what if someone's out? Were without Ja for quite a bit of last season, still
Yeah.
kind of rode through that. So I love them. I just think that they've got young guys that are on the way up that you can get internal growth with. That's all. I think
Hmm.
you kind of always underestimate where at some point guys just sort of, if they're really guys, just sort of figure it out. Like Zion, I
Hmm.
mean, he just is he's a guy. Like, he's a real, like, guy. Like Ben Simmons came back and scored like 2 points last night, but
Yeah, fouled
Zion
out.
fouled out. Like Zion came back and was just looked unstoppable. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, like he just gets it. He knows how to play basketball. He's got the mentality to do it, and Ja for
Mhm.
sure does.
Damn, dude. Yep. So that's yours.
Yep.
So we're moving on for me. That's
4.
this is where Phoenix sits.
Oh, okay.
That's my Phoenix spot.
That's not a bad. I think that could be right. I mean,
And the
that would
only
be a good spot for them. That's home court advantage still.
yeah, 3-4 could have switched, but I'm being bold with that Pelicans call.
I like that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go. I'm gonna go with the Clippers next here. I think that they're due for some injury luck. That's what I'm banking on is that they've been injured. One guy seems like constantly for 4 years. I'm just hoping for their sake that they do it. But they are for sure gonna rest guys. So I don't think they
Hmm.
can get to that top because they are gonna load manage and if
Yeah.
any little injury comes up, they're gonna sit somebody and back to backs, they're gonna sit guys. So and I think they're deep enough where that they'll still pick up some wins there, but I think it'll be enough that they'll drop to the middle of the pack. And they don't need to be. There's no reason they need to be the
They just need
first
to make
seed.
play. Yeah, I need to make
Exactly.
playoffs.
Yeah, they get in
Yeah,
there and they'll be good.
I agree with you. I think PG is going to get rest. Kawhi is going to get rest. Like they're going to probably try to play the shit out of John Wall because he's fresh from back too. But yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen. But they are deep and they feel good. So that's your 4. Is that what we
Yep.
said?
Yeah, I think that's 4.
Man, 5. Do I go with Dallas or do I go with the Clips? Who's gonna be over 1? I think the Clips got Dallas. I think that's my 5.
Yeah. I
Dallas
think
looks
that's
like Luka needs to run so much more. Homeboy's tired all like he puts him up, but like
he needs to
that team
run
run
so
is
much more.
he needs to be like I mean, I'm sure he's in pretty good shape for him putting up those points, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
want him to do more than 35? He had like 35
I want
and
him to get
9
back
last
on
night.
defense. I want him to be
Yeah.
part of the defense. Like they got to
Okay.
win with
Well,
some
if
defense, and that's
you're
not
talking
him.
about James Harden, next time Doc Rivers
Right.
puts his arm around James Harden, maybe they should have a conversation about defense.
Yeah.
Because
If I get
that's part of leadership too. I saw some plays where guys he looked like a, turnstile. They just blew past him. I'm like, come
yeah,
on, man! Like his effort level on that end of the court has always left something to be desired,
always.
and that is just and defense is totally just that's all mental, like because
Yeah.
it's not fun, and you don't
Oh,
get
it's
any
fun.
I mean, you
For
can
me,
make
it's fun.
yeah, you can make it kind of in your own head, but that's what I mean. Like you have to make it because you're not gonna. I guess not fun in that you're not gonna be on the NBA TV top 10,
Yeah,
with
no.
your defense,
Yeah, for the
So
superstars, you're not. But for the individual, you're like, yeah, how many are they actually going to get on me? And
right.
that's where I love it. Where
That's what
they,
yeah, it's like a pride thing. Like he's gotta take more pride in it. Like, and that
yeah,
team needs him and Maxey to be better on defense. So yeah,
yeah,
I think that's interesting. All
yeah.
right,
So that's going to be my squad.
all right, I'm picking the Pelicans then. I really like
Okay.
them too. I mean, I I don't see how they are any lower than that with just the talent. Like the only things that they have to really figure out we'll have to figure out eventually is kind of the chemistry and end
Hmm.
of games. When they get in close games, because it's easy in a blowout, they just kind of run the
Sure.
offense, it goes where it is. But at the end of games, when it's close, what
Hmm.
who's it
Who's
gonna be?
clutch?
Yeah, is it
I know
gonna
it's
be
interesting.
Ingram or is it gonna be Zion? Is it gonna be McCollum? Like, which one of those guys, how do they set the court up? Are they gonna be
Yeah.
okay? Are they gonna be okay with that too? If it's
I,
Zion not in the play, like, is he gonna be okay with,
hmm.
deferring to one of those guys because they're better shooters or, you know, better ball handlers? I don't know.
That's where you hopefully bank on coaching culture, right? And the understanding of like, I mean, I see they're 3 different roles for 3 different teams you playing
Yeah.
against, 3 different sets. And I think that to me, at least, if anything, to have those options and how different they are is pretty badass. You got we need to create a shot on a one-on-one. Like McCollum's pretty much, if he hits the shot, guaranteed. Like he can
Yeah.
get around and he can do anything. Like
Yes.
dude is the G. And then Ingram kind of the same way, but in a whole different style, right? He's tall. He's got length. Like you can put him mid-range, but he can also
Super
hit
long.
deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you've got these interesting matchups. You can run a play or two with them all, and Zion's anywhere. He's an oop. He's a inside, just like bang it in. He's also a trusted, dime on the way
He's
through.
just
Yeah,
fun. He's just is fun to watch. I mean, that is
yeah.
that I can say about every time I watch them, like your eyes are just drawn to him because he just looks weird out there. He's just
He
this
looks
kinda
weird.
he looks weird. Like, did you watch the Wembanyama guy? Any of the highlights from when he came over and played in Las Vegas? Like, it
Yeah.
yeah, he just looks like I don't know what that is, but it is
It's too tall to
amazing to
be. The
it's
ball looks
amazing
like
to
it's going
watch.
straight,
I
basically, because
know.
he's so
It's
tall.
amazing to watch, though. I'm just
Yeah,
like, I don't know what that is, but I enjoy
yeah,
watching it.
yeah.
Like Boban. Something about Boban.
Yeah, exactly. Except for with style and grace.
Yes, exactly. Less style and grace there.
Yeah,
So
it's like Zion's like a spring bunny. It's crazy,
yeah.
like a cow that's got bunny legs. I don't know. He's like,
That's good, yes. Well, you need to come up with a nickname, mash those
I
2
don't
up.
know if I'm allowed
Get
to.
that on the
No,
basketball reference page.
I'll be hated for
Cow
life.
cow
Cow bunny, dude.
cow bunny.
Cow
Ooh,
bun.
yeah. There's something there. You workshop it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a minute, dude. I'll have to talk it through and really write some notes. Workshop for
Let me
days, dog.
storyboard that.
I absolutely got to do him some justice.
All right, who you got next?
I think I'm going Dallas there.
Okay.
I think that's the
Just that's
spot.
just a Lucas pick there.
I mean, it's a consistency pick too, right? They've always kind of they've been sticking around right around there. I think they can keep doing it. I feel
Yeah.
like the pickup of Woods, we'll see how he does. He's kind of an interesting player, but he seems to be one of those that might be finding a fit if he keep, he put 16 straight up last
I
night with Luka
know.
on the bench. And it was Aiton's defense actually was pretty crappy last night across the
Yeah.
board. Like he had no help D in general. He was playing off him
Yeah.
and he got hit with 3 or 4 threes in his face. So it's like, and he still did never put his hand up. I don't think in any of them. Maybe the one that he banked,
Yeah.
that Woods banked. So I mean, it's interesting to see at least some more offense. I think, oh gosh, Dinwiddie's still like not getting what he
I
can be.
know.
Dinwiddie's good. I like
He
him.
is.
There's some players on that team that can contribute that I think they need some coaching and play running help a little bit and not only run everything through watch Luka. And if they
I
can do a
know.
little bit of that, they're a team and that changes the game.
Do they have anybody else that can do that? They lost Brunson though. That's my
I
thing.
know.
I
Brunson, I
don't
liked a lot.
I know. I don't know. I really don't know about them. I would not pick them just because I just think that he meant more than they realize as a table setter. And their identity was kind of toughness and defense last year. And so now their second
Mm-hmm.
best player is Wood, who doesn't play any defense. He can
Mm-hmm.
score. He looked great scoring last night, but I don't know. Like I'm not convinced that I don't like a team that I don't know who your second best player is, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna lock you into the playoffs because everybody else that we've talked about has at least 2 guys, that
Yeah.
I'm like they've got this guy and maybe these several others, and really like Woods is. I mean, if you're gonna call him the second best guy,
No,
like
it's
man,
hard to tell.
so that's really a Luca pick. So,
I know. It is a Luka pick. It just
but he's
seems to have
good.
worked.
You're
I mean,
not you're not
what he
wrong.
put 35 again last night or some
Yeah, like
shenanigans. Like,
35-9.
and it is kind of gnarly that you have to bank on him doing that for you to win. But
He
they
can
did
do
play
it.
Phoenix, a unique Phoenix team last night. Not necessarily like Phoenix at their best, but they were blowing them out for a long time. And that's again, you got to stay in shape and stay focused on defense.
Yeah,
And they should have been able to hold off that lead
should
pretty
have.
pretty substantially. So hard to tell, but I'm still going to put them there one more season, and that's kind of almost based on technically they've earned that in my mind.
Yeah, they were in the Western Conference Finals last year, so
Right,
you're not wrong about it. So
right.
I'm
Well, yeah, it
going.
could be.
Well, yeah. Well, you could be wrong this season, but you're not wrong to pick them based on past performance and Luca. I'm going though with the 2-time MVP in this spot. I'm going with the Nuggets and Jokic here. I
Oh,
just think,
I blew
man,
it. I forgot
yeah,
about him right there.
I
Yeah,
know.
obviously.
I think they'll be good this year. This may be too low for them. I might be like
That actually might be
too
low.
high on the
Yeah.
Pelicans, just because of the newness of them, and maybe it's
Mm,
actually just the Nuggets who are going to be in that spot because they've
mm,
got that continuity with the couple guys coming back, and Jokic he practically got a no name team to 50 wins last year,
yeah.
all by himself. So if Murray and Porter Jr. can do anything, they could be big big upgrades over the guys they
Easy.
had last year. So that's the Nuggets right there for me.
Man, was that 6 too, right? We're at
Yeah.
6 now.
Yeah, so now we're at the play-in next. That's what's crazy. Like, these teams are gonna be in the play-in tournament the next 2.
Right. So I mean, to me, it's pretty dead set. Like it should be our boy Jokic in the squad. Like he's such a facilitator. That does seem a little bit like a no brainer. Like they're making the playoffs
Yeah.
to me. This is why
Oh,
it's interesting.
are
Like
you
the Western,
flipping? Are you flipping your
I
Mavs
think I
then to
got to
7?
flip. I think I got to
Alright.
flip. I think I
Alright.
got to be with you on that. Like if I got to, you can't check your ego and just be like, well, I said it. I'm like, no, this is, you're not, I'm not wise to put Jokic
We didn't even know
behind
who Jay
Luca.
Crowder is. It's fine.
Oh, I know who Jay Crowder is.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm
Yes.
you're just not wise to put Luca as a standalone above
Yeah.
Jokic as a team. Like Jokic builds a team.
Yeah.
Luca is a guy,
Yeah.
they're different.
I think Luka needs to, like you said, figure out something with Hardaway Jr. or somebody
Mm-hmm.
else where he can like be gravity, right? And just
Mm-hmm.
make things easier without doing so much. Cause I think what you're getting at is true. Like, he gets so tired because he's not like Steph where he's just gravity for the other guys to do things. He is like
Mm-hmm.
having to do everything himself. And so by the end of the game, he's just exhausted. Like, you
And he
can't,
saw it.
he looks tired. and I,
He
and I
is
don't even,
tired,
I don't even know if you can even be in good enough. I mean, I'm sure you can be, but it's hard to be in good enough shape to do
I mean,
that
Curry is, right?
every night. Yeah, every night
But
is just like so hard.
it's a dedication. And Curry's a little smaller, right? To carry that
Yeah.
height and weight is
Yep.
different. And it's true. Like you watch them box in one Luca, and it actually for a fair amount of the game, like it worked. For
Yeah.
some reason they stopped doing it every time he starts scoring again. But if they double team him,
Yeah.
he had a hard time. He
Yeah.
actually, like he just puts up more shots than everybody and he's really fucking good. But
Yeah. He is.
yeah, that's my flip.
All
So
right.
yeah, I guess now we're to play.
So now, yeah. So you've got Mavs at 7 then in the play-in.
Yeah, dude. That's the one.
I know.
Mavs.
This what's
I don't know. Have I put my boys the Clippers in personally yet?
Yeah, you had.
I dropped them, right?
No, you had him in earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I dropped them.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then all I've got left in my repertoire of belief is yeah, they're
But that's
7.
crazy because we
No,
haven't we
no, no.
haven't
But the
said the
Jazz are
Lakers.
still here. We haven't said the
We haven't
Jazz
said the
either.
Jazz. We haven't said the Kings, who are
I
definitely going
know
for it.
they're doing all right too. That's what I'm saying. Like the Western Conference is kind of crazy.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Like
We haven't said the
10
Timberwolves.
teams.
We haven't said the
I
Timberwolves
know.
or the Blazers either, by the way. Which
That's what
Timberwolves?
I'm saying. Then Portland's got a chance too. Like
So
it's hard.
yeah. So at 7, do I go with? I think I'm going to go with the Timberwolves here, actually, over the Mavericks, because I love Luca, but I just do not like his team, and I think that the Timberwolves, again, they've got 3 guys who I like. Yeah, I like Luca better than any one of their 3 guys.
Yeah,
But
but together.
Gobert is gonna make their defense better. Cat is amazing offensively, at least,
Yeah,
and Gobert is gonna cover up some of his deficiencies. And then I love
sure.
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
The Ant-Man is on the rise still, so I'm gonna go with them at 7.
I think you're smart. It's a hard call. Yeah, you got okay. So that's your 7. So then I have to pick an 8th right now.
Well, are you going
Out of
with?
all those,
Are you keeping the Mavs at 7 then? You
you're gonna let me
flipped them
you're
out
gonna
of
let me do a
6.
buy on that one. If you're gonna let me do a
Well,
buy on that one, I'm not. I don't know if I'm keep. If I can recall it, I don't know if I put Dallas there. I might put.
it's
the Jazz
California,
there.
so you can do recalls, elections,
Hey-o!
like a little politics.
I think I'm gonna throw the Jazz there and see what happens. I
Oh,
think there's.
wow. So you don't
I
think they're
know.
tanking for Wembanyama?
I don't know. Everybody's gonna say I don't know. I feel like the Lakers are gonna tank before him.
Well, that's the crazy thing, though, is that the Lakers owe their pick to New Orleans this year. So if they get the
Oh,
number 1 pick, it actually would go to New Orleans, which would be
that's interesting.
all time amazing. Imagine New Orleans gets Wembanyama. Like that'd be something.
Wow, that'd be like a young laser team. I didn't know about that little
Yeah.
fun fact, little nug you just threw at me. But I'm still going with Utah. I don't think they're
Okay.
tanking yet.
I
I don't
like
think they're
it.
tanking yet.
Just the
I'm gonna trust
continuity
the
system.
culture. Like they seem disciplined as a organization, and I think
Yeah.
we're gonna see some surprises. I'm going there. That's my spot.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Not gonna overthink it.
Who's 8? Who's 8 then? You still got Timberwolves, Trailblazers, Lakers, Kings. Lots to pick from.
See, so much of this is like, are the Lakers going to trade Russ so that Russ can actually play well somewhere and have like a good season?
They've got to,
Ugh,
right? They
I'm
looked horrible. Like that
horrible.
I watched that game and I was like, "My God, this is not a functional basketball team." Like they have two good
Horrible.
players, which is great, but it turns out that like the Redeem team, basketball is not too you can get beat by Puerto Rico if you are not a good team. Like that's just how it is. Like it doesn't matter. Like a good team is going to beat you even if you got two awesome players. And they do. AD and LeBron looked awesome, but whew, man, the rest of
I,
their team struggling.
it's struggling. I think I'm gonna go for they're gonna be their redeem team. Blazers are getting in. 8.
Wow. All right.
I want them. I love them. I've always loved
Blazers.
them. I want some Dame time. I want that
Lillard.
squad to come alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I keep seeing potential in them, and then it just like it doesn't work. I think Dame being quote unquote healthier than he's been and all that in shape, which they say about athletes all the time. But if it's true, with all that support that he seems to be picking up in those young players, I think it's on. I think they could be. They had those sparks even without him here and there. It's just they couldn't sustain. They couldn't
Amazing.
sustain.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm in, dude.
Whew,
Rip
that's
Rip City's
bold. I
coming
love
in
it. I love
hot.
it because the best part of is that there's like so much groupthink around the teams that have to be in, and it's way better to pick like outliers because you don't know. Like it so much is about like will they come together? And I mean, he is a culture builder there. He loves
Yeah.
Portland. That city loves him. That stuff ends up mattering
Mm-hmm.
in the end too. But I'm gonna pick
So
Luca. I got to pick my boy Luca in the eighth spot there. So
I've given up on him through our
I
conversation.
know,
He's
I
out.
know, I know. I can't imagine that he's not at least in that top 8, but, it's crazy to think that they went from the Western Conference Finals to maybe in the play-in and fighting to be in the it could be Warriors first round, Warriors Mavericks, a rematch of the conference finals, last year. That's crazy. That would be a crazy first round matchup.
This season is hard. Like us having this conversation, people are going to be just tripping out. They're going to be like, "These guys are full of it." Because who knows? Like,
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of people are going to my wild card of the Pelicans. Even though I don't feel like it's a wild card, to a lot of people probably feel that way, right? Not
Oh, for
proven yet at
sure.
all,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Like
it'd be a
being that
huge
high up.
improvement. Like, that's the thing, like, they won, like, 40 games last year, so
Yeah,
we're basically saying they're gonna win 10 more games, and to improve that
yeah.
much is difficult. That's
Mm-hmm.
basically a bet on, like you said, their culture plus Zion being awesome all year. I mean, that's
I
not
think
impossible, though.
no. I think that's the thing though. With some, you add Zion, and then you can't. The floor is spread. Like it's the same. It's to me, it's also like the Warriors thing. You have the right people on there, and it's like you can't leave Zion, you can't leave
Yep.
Ingram, you can't leave McCollum. So it's like not only that, all three of them can create their own shots.
Yeah.
None of them are spot up. I
Yep.
mean, kind of Ingram sometimes, but he creates his own shots a
He
lot.
does. Yeah,
Like
he can definitely move.
so. Like when that happens, you can't easily double team any one of them without that sacrifice. And to me, that's a huge advantage with those types of players. So that's why I call that. And that is different to teams like Luca, to teams with a lot of these teams. I mean, Minnesota, you're right. They've got it because of Anthony Eds. Anthony Eds. That's Goose.
Ant-Man. Anthony, oh,
Ant Man.
yeah. You're right.
I talked about Goose. Goose dies in the end, everybody. His son lives.
Oh
And
my
his son
gosh,
is the Brewster.
spoiler alert.
Yeah, dude. But
They
I don't
had
know.
that.
This one never
We
finished
got a
him.
sidebar here. They had that as the trivia question during the Heat Bulls last night. Was two people, younger African American ladies, and they asked them who is Maverick's wingman, and they both just looked at the guy asking the question like, "This is what you give us." Like, come on now, like, are you kidding me? Like
They're
they
all,
did
who's
not.
Maverick?
Yeah, the one got it. She got Rooster. They gave it to her on Rooster.
Oh, they gave
Yeah,
her a rooster.
I know,
That's
I know.
true.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
Maverick Swingman.
That's right. Yeah.
New
So
age. It's not the old school, but whatever.
they
Family
gave they
line
gave
over
it to
there.
her. Yeah. I was like, that's good enough.
And you're still
Let her
reeling
off
off
the
of
hook.
DeRozan's 37 and his
Oh
sick.
my gosh. Oh,
I
that
know. Mid range
the
winner.
triple pump fake. Into the amazing. Amazing. Like, get out of here with that. Like there's
Oh,
nothing,
he's
you're doing with that. You're definitely biting on one of those pump fakes.
you got to. Good sidebar. Good sidebar.
Yeah. For sure. All right. Well, you got anything else for us so that we'll check in later in the year, see how our picks are doing. I've got them written
I,
down, so
I'm
we'll
really okay.
see.
You wrote them down. I'm
Yeah.
really interested to see how this progresses because I'm definitely a firm believer in the surprises, and
Yeah.
how accurate of the standings. I actually don't feel like 1,000% dialed on
No,
that.
I
I
don't think you
claiming those
can this
teams
year.
though,
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't think you
claiming those
can.
teams being top eight.
Yeah.
I think I could feel fairly confident that that could happen. But how the chips fall in terms of 1 through 8, I feel like that top 4 to 5 is pretty open.
Yeah, well, because there's no runaways, like, there's no Warriors,
Mm-hmm.
Cavs like there was for years, like, those teams were
Mm-hmm.
clearly, like, gonna be the top seeds
Mm-hmm.
or make it to the finals. I mean, they did every single year, so it's just like, okay, these are the finals teams. Like, I don't know that the Warriors will go to the finals even if I pick them number 1, and I couldn't tell you out of the top 8 who will go because I think a lot will depend on just culture. We didn't even talk about Draymond Green. We talked about the Warriors, like,
Right.
holy cow, like, that what a weird situation. Did you watch
I mean,
his
the whole thing's weird.
it was rap with his documentary, if you watched that at all. Did you see any of that?
I haven't watched his.
Oh
No,
my
I gotta watch
gosh.
that.
You gotta speaking of things that if
I'll
you haven't
watch it.
seen it, yeah, watch a little bit of that because 'cause you'll be like,
Or when?
What in the world?" Yeah, sorry. "What in the
Oh, it's
world?"
all good. Yeah, I'll watch that, and that's totally the point too. It's like the Warriors. The Warriors still like on paper again. They actually should probably with the depth and the quality of players they have. They should be number one,
Yeah,
no brainer. But at the same time, all those players haven't played together with chemistry and the kind of minutes they're going to have to share to play 11 guys a game, give
yeah.
or take. Like
Oh,
genuinely be able to play 11 guys a game fairly consistently is like that's
it's
it's a
different.
challenge. It's
Yeah,
a total challenge, and
it
so
is.
it's again how their success is greatly going to come down to how well they can put chemistry mixes together and multiple different versions. Right? It's like I think that's
100%.
badass. I
Yeah.
love that challenge, but that
But
doesn't mean they're going to be a winning team.
yeah, but exactly, yeah. So we'll check it. I gotta hear that because I think the documentary thing for Draymond, it was bizarre. It's bizarre, man. It's just like the new school media. I like on some level because again, it's that their opportunity when it's done right. Like the Redeem Team was like produced by LeBron and Wade, and so
Well done.
yeah, exactly. If you can give it an interesting lens and be kind of honest on some level, but the Draymond thing was strange. Like the way like he tried to apologize, but not really. He almost like framed himself as like a victim of the punch situation. Like it was when you see it, like it's weird. Like he's with his daughters when he's talking about it. And so paints him just you can't
It's like
look at him.
political a
Yeah, you
little
can't
bit.
look at him as like in such a negative way. It's almost like you're a you're like a dictator and you go out into a neighborhood and
Mhm.
everyone there is like, "Oh yeah, we love him." Like, do you? Because or
Yeah,
are you just worried that he might
he's
punch you
kissing
too?
babies.
Yeah,
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 exactly.
exactly. So it's just
Uh-huh.
like it was like that. It felt like a political advertisement rather than a documentary like it was meant to be. I don't mind
Mhm.
if that you want to share that stuff, but I think that you owe us some real authenticity, not just to try to
Personality.
yeah, not to try to like
Mhm.
scrub the situation because you made a mistake. Like
Yeah,
just own it. It seemed like the team moved on from it, which speaks a lot to the team culture and Poole and Kerr and all those guys
yeah.
being willing to just ride that wave with you and not just like pull the rug and ship you out
Mhm.
of town, which they could have easily done too. If someone
Yeah,
would have traded for him, they could have just been like, "See you later," But
yeah. I mean, and they played well together. There was still some chemistry
yep,
between the two of them in
yeah,
the
they had
game,
that nice
so
little pass, and yeah,
yeah.
that was neat. So
Backdoor cut. This is good. Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. I gotta watch that documentary for sure. And y'all
yeah.
gotta drink some Ben Hameen Geisha when it comes out because it's about to
Yeah.
drop.
Oh,
That's
when's
my
that coming
boy.
out?
In the next couple of weeks. Yeah, it's coming in hot.
Okay, good.
He's special, right? Ben Hameen makes sure all the best coffees from Honduras come out, and he has a couple farms himself. And his coffee that just got harvested won first place in Cup of Excellence. The harvest that we
Really?
have from this past season got fifth place, so it's like
Okay.
rated the fifth
Super
best
awesome.
coffee to come out of all Honduras. And this year coming up, we don't have that one yet. It's coming next year, but got first place. So And it's tropical, it's clean, it's just like it's a whole story in the mountains.
It's a whole thing.
It's wild, yeah. It's like got the mangoes and the melons and it's so fun. The vanillas and the flowers. Like, damn, girl.
Oh.